The first and most important duty of a city attorney or a county attorney is to prosecute cases. They are also the chief civil attorney in their respective units of government. But John was always willing to say, is there a different way that we can approach the issues that we're facing? Are there ways that we can structure solutions as opposed to just imposing punishment?
John Choi, in my view, is really uniquely qualified to be the next Ramsey County Attorney. He's been St. Paul City Attorney. He's already led a group of public lawyers, and that's a specific experience that will serve him well.
In the city attorney's office, we prosecute about 15,000 cases a year. And one of the things that I saw as this kind of sore thumb sticking out was that a third of those cases involved people who were driving around with some invalid license status.
It's a fact that a lot of people don't have valid driver's license. And for whatever reason, sometimes they can't afford to pay the fines, sometimes they don't believe in law and order. But once you get a citation, you either go to jail or you get a fine.
And you still have to go to work, and so you continue to drive and pick up another offense. And before you know it, you owe thousands of dollars before you're able to get your driver's license back.
If some get arrested 2-3 times a week, those are court dates and court fines that need to be paid that really tie up the system, and they get into a hole so deep that they can never pay the fine to ever get their driver's license back.
So the driver diversion program really is an attempt to break this cycle of people who are coming into the system over and over and over again because they made some poor life choices a long time ago, but they want to get valid and they want their license back. So what we do is we actually get them a license so that they can do the things that they need to do to survive in the society, but then there's strings attached. Number one, they got to come to a 3-hour class focused on life skills and financial management. Secondly, they got to pay off all those fees and fines, and we do that over a period of time and they get on a payment plan. And that was something that we didn't do before. And then thirdly, we make sure that they maintain insurance.
John said, well, you know, what is the goal here? Is the goal to have people be licensed? Is the goal to have people be safe? Yeah, punishment is part of it. But let's look at it from a different perspective. What is in the best interest long-term for the community? And let's start thinking of new ways that we can approach it. Not to give people a pass, but to help them with a hand up to figure out how to turn their lives around.
I liken gangs and gang members to striking a match and starts a grass fire. And if not contained, it'll start a forest fire.
And you don't want your kids to get to the point with gangs in the neighborhood where you have to choose a side. Are you going to be a gang member? Are you going to get beat up every day? Or whatever would happen for you not being a gang member?
My belief is that criminal gang activity is a public nuisance because it has a very profound negative impact on people who live in our neighborhoods.
Well, it came out of John Choi's idea and some other people in the police department and the city attorney. I mean, it was a combination of putting it together.
And we worked on developing a case to do something to protect the Cinco de Mayo Festival and the Rondo Days Festival because we had some issues the year before or leading up to those festivals. So what we did was we essentially sued the gangs that were most apt to disrupt those festivals.
John spearheaded the implementation of the injunction, and I think what John brought to the table initially is that that he himself didn't have the answers, but I think one of his strengths is he goes to resources and he gets the answers.
This is the first time we had an event where we're just totally peaceful. The only arrests we made, if any, were warrant arrests or some of the other things, but the injunction was enforced. The gang members that came to the event understood it. They understood the rules. They followed the rules. And inside the perimeter where everything was safe, and the festival went just unbelievable how successful it was, and all the positive feedback we got from the people who, the vendors who came there and the people who came to the event itself. They said that's the safest they felt in years.
There, for years, has been a great problem with a police officer responding to a domestic situation and finding the perpetrator gone. Unfortunately, the report would end up on someone's desk and the perpetrator would be allowed to go scot-free for 30 or 60 days. That's the message to the victim that you don't care, to the perpetrator, we're not going to go after you.
Many things that appear to be completely logical and common sense to us aren't to others. And when you have a criminal justice system that is so ingrained in doing something a certain way, you can have very good people within that system, but until you change every fiber of that structure, it's going to continue what it's doing.
John saw that this was a really severe and dangerous situation, so he was willing to put some effort into fixing it. And the fix is now that there is a process by which the gone-on arrivals the next morning are looked at. If anyone on their list of 100 most dangerous is one of the ones who wasn't there last night, a warrant is issued, and the perpetrator, there's a pickup for the perpetrator immediately. And so what used to take 30 or 60 days and leave everyone with the wrong messages in the meantime is now being fixed in 3 or 4 days or a week.
And John not only has the vision to see how it's the structure that's holding people from doing really good things, that needs to be changed. He also had the intelligence to reach out and work alongside of people that could help him do that.
As a judge, one is not ethically allowed to become involved in partisan politics, but I feel very strongly about John's candidacy for Ramsey County Attorney. And so when he asked me to support him, I removed my name from the list of judges who are available to hear cases.
What John Choi knows that if you're going to solve a problem within a community, that you have to bring the people who are affected by the problem into being a part of the solution.
And that is a collaborative project, but he was the leader of our office who brought in the necessary people to make it an effective tool to reduce the incidence of domestic violence, which is often a gateway to homicide.
John Choi is a person who gives you a sense of justice, a sense of commitment, a sense of understanding what the job's about. And John Choi is a very ethical man. That's critical in this job. I can't tell you how excited I am to have the opportunity come next January to work with John Choi as a Ramsey County Attorney.
As president of AFSCME, we represent people, not just the attorneys, but the paralegals, lots of folks in the county attorney's office. And what we want in a boss is someone who wants to make us all better, who wants to take our attributes and strengthen and build a bigger bench for us. We want a person who treats us with dignity and respect. We know John has a track record of going in and getting the best out of the people he has. And he also has a track record of treating his people, AFSCME members, with dignity and respect. And frankly, if you want a Class A organization, you need Class A employees, and you need a person to treat those Class A employees as such.
What he did was he took the time to talk to all the various stakeholders to get their perspective on what this department should be doing. When everybody has the same outcome in mind and you get everyone to agree on that, then there is a process to doing it. And John did a phenomenal job.
I think he's someone that could reinstill the level of trust between the county attorney's office and the communities of color, because I think he cares about both sides of justice.
When I first became Hennepin County Attorney, I was a skilled trial lawyer. I'd been in the legislature setting public policy, and I had led a number of organizations. But I wasn't fully prepared to lead a public law office of civil service protected tenured lawyers. It took me 9 to 14 months to learn. John has already learned how to lead public lawyers. He's done that in the city attorney's office. He's managed skillfully. He's hired, he's challenged, he's inspired, and sometimes he's had to discipline people. It's a real advantage for the next Ramsey County Attorney to have that kind of public sector legal experience. John Choi will hit the ground running, and that's positive.
You know, there are a lot of times, given the position that I'm in, where people ask, you know, will you support me? Will you endorse me for an office? And I'm glad to do that. But there has never been a less equivocal endorsement in my life than my endorsement of John for county attorney. As a matter of fact, the only reason why I hesitated at all to support John for being county attorney was because I hate to lose him as my city attorney. But John is going to be an exceptional county attorney, just as he's been an exceptional city attorney.